everyone, and welcome once again to Caleb Likes Books. Today I have another book review for you, and that is for Children of Dune by Frank Herbert. This is the third book in the Dune series. I read Dune Messiah not too long ago, I think about a month and a half ago now, and I really loved it. And I had heard from several people that Children of Dune works best if read shortly after Messiah, so I put it on the TBR to read very soon after. And first of all, I'm very glad I did that because I think it does work very well as like a kind of next immediate part of the story, and really works well coming off of Messiah. But also, I just really liked this book as well. I loved the first Dune book. I didn't love it on the first read. I liked it, but I didn't love it. Then I reread it to see if I wanted to continue the series or not, and because I, kind of just wanted to give it another shot, and I loved it the second time, and then I loved Messiah, and I loved Children of Dune. Maybe my least favorite of the three, but by like the tiniest amount, because I have loved all three of these books. So to talk a bit about what I enjoyed about this book, of which there are basically all I have to talk about with this book is things that I enjoyed. First of all, just the premise of this book I think is really cool. So this, and I may be spoiling parts of the first two books in case that's not obvious, because this is book 3. In this book, it primarily follows two new characters, being Leto and Ganima. I don't know if I'm saying those names entirely 100% correctly, but they are the children of Paul Atreides. In the first two Dune books, he's like the main character, and he has these two children in book 2, and they are kind of the main characters and the titular children of this book. And they have kind of similar abilities to Paul, of like precognition, kind of knowing, like this deep knowledge, not only of the future and things, but also of the past. Like they're able to kind of know things about the generations that have come before them, and kind of just have this wealth of knowledge and wisdom and all these kinds of things that makes them very interesting to me. And just kind of things going on with them. Then you have like all these political machinations going on with other characters, because it's Dune. It seems like there's always political machinations going on, and just all kinds of things like that. And just that setup I think is really interesting, of having these two characters who first of all have that legacy of being the children of Paul Atreides, who is kind of this messiah-like figure for the people of Arrakis. But then on top of that, having, these two children being the way that they are, with this kind of precognitive ability and everything, and knowing that they kind of have this destiny before them, and trying to kind of go about that, I think is really interesting, really cool, really kind of weird also. Like, these kids are supposed to be like 9 or 10 years old. They do not come across like 9 or 10-year-old kids in this book. It makes sense why, like the way they talk, the way they act, all that kind of thing does not seem like the way a child would act, but it makes sense in the context of the book. Just took me a little bit to get used to, because I was reading it and I was like, wait a minute, these are still supposed to be kids, but they're talking like they're much older than that. But still, it was pretty cool. It was interesting, and it made for kind of a interesting part of the book. I also really liked just the plot in general of this book. There's a lot of really interesting things that happen in this book. I was always kind of interested to see what would happen next. There was just lots of cool parts of this book that kind of came together in an interesting way. That also, I think, played a lot into like some of the themes and things like that. And this book is very like thematically heavy, I guess. One of the big criticisms I often hear about the later Dune books, but especially Children of Dune, as well as probably some of the other ones as well, but more so starting with Children of Dune, is it gets really philosophical and really, like, Dune has always, like, in the first two books, had a lot of themes and stuff going on. This one really dives into that, really dives into the philosophy, things about, like, religion, which the first couple books also dealt with, things like power, politics, like, all kinds of things, like just philosophy of all of these things, and characters will just have, you know, long discussions about these things, which is something that a lot of other people tend to not love about this book. I actually really enjoyed that. I'm sure plenty of it went over my head because that just is not the kind of thing that I am used to thinking about a lot of the time. But I did find it really interesting as I was reading it, and just the dialogue in this book, especially when it came to those things. I mean, in general, is good, but especially when it came to that side of things, when it got very philosophical, very thematic and everything, I really enjoyed just reading the dialogue and everything in this book. And that comes up a lot with these two children, Leto and Ganima, but it also comes up with this other mysterious new character called the Preacher, who just kind of shows up, starts preaching at people about, you know, Paul, about his message, about the things that they are doing, how you know, things are maybe not going the way they should or whatever. And I really liked that part of the character as well, just the dialogue of that character, everything to do with the Preacher character. Actually, I really liked in this book, just the role that they played in the story, the things that they were saying were really interesting. The way that the story kind of resolved with them, just everything involving that character, I think was really interesting. On top of, you know, all the other characters, you know, the two kids and everyone else involved. Really liked all that stuff. And yeah, just generally, I really enjoyed this book a lot. Don't have a whole lot else really to talk about with it. I just really liked this book, which kind of surprised me because I had heard, you know, people say, oh, Dune 1 is amazing. Dune Messiah is kind of hit or miss for people, and I loved Dune Messiah. And then I hear, oh, Children of Dune's kind of hit or miss for people. So I went into this kind of like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to think of it, but I just thoroughly enjoyed this book. The only things really that brought it down at all for me was, like I said, some of the dialogue, the philosophy kind of stuff kind of went over my head some of the time, I'm sure. But on top of that, this book is, I think, much slower paced than the first two books, especially I would say the second one. The first one has its faster paced moments, but it's also like really, like, you know, it's longer than this one. It's like, I don't know how long it is, like 600-700 pages, I can't remember. It's pretty decently long. But for the length that this book is, this one feels slower to me. So there were certain parts of it where there was kind of a lull that I was kind of getting a little bit checked out, but not too much. I still enjoyed this book all the way through, pretty much. Still enjoyed it thoroughly. Had a very good time reading it. Yeah, as far as a rating out of 10 that I'd give Children of Dune, I'd give this a pretty similar rating to the first two books, and I'd give this like a 9.5 out of 10. I really had a good time with it. As I was going through it, like as in the early portions, I was like, oh, I'm still liking this. Not as much. I was like, oh, maybe hovering around like an 8 out of 10. Then kind of halfway through the book, it was like, oh, that'll go up to like an 8.5 or so. And then by the end of the book, I was like, oh, I really liked this book a lot. And that kind of went up to like 9.5 territory. So I really enjoyed this book, though. I think that at this point, I mean, who knows how their later books are going to go. I'll find out, you know, sometime, because I am intending to read God Emperor of Dune later this year. But as of this moment, Dune is quickly becoming one of my absolute favorite book series. Each of the first three books has been a huge hit for me, and hopefully that'll still be the case with the remaining books. But we'll be finding about that sometime here later this year, because I'm probably going to try to fit in God Emperor towards the end of the year, maybe November, December, somewhere in there. I kind of want to pick it up right now, but I'm not going to do that. I try not to break my TBR too much in terms of things like that, so I'm not going to do that, but I kind of want to read God Emperor now, but I'm going to try to hold off on that until later this year. So that is something I will definitely be looking forward to. So that's pretty much it for my review. Let me know in the comments if you have read Children of Dune. What did you think of it? Did you like it? Did you not? How does it compare to the first 2 books in the series for you? How does it compare to the entirety of the Dune series for you? I'd be curious to hear what you think of it. So that's pretty much it for this one. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time.